Welcome back to Humber News. Now with your weather forecast, here's Tom Parisi.
It's going to be pretty chilly today. Let's take a look at your 5-day weather forecast. We got a chance of showers today, possible chance of snow, high of 4, a low of -3. For Saturday, sunny with cloudy periods and a high of 6, a low of -3. For Sunday, cloudy with a chance of showers, a high of 6, a low of -2. And for Monday, mix of sun and cloud, a high of 9, almost 10, but not quite, and a low of 1. Now, although it'll be cloudy on Tuesday, you can look forward to double-digit temperatures, a high of 10 degrees and a low of 4. Now, don't you fret over the weather, because nothing lasts forever, not even cold November rain. Now, back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Tom. And now turning to international and national news. A young Asian man has been detained by authorities after allegedly boarding an Air Canada flight from Hong Kong disguised as an elderly Caucasian man. After the Canada Border Services Agency took the man into custody, he immediately applied for refugee protection. During the flight, witnesses noticed the elderly man enter the washroom and emerge as a young Asian male. Authorities say the man switched boarding passes with a 55-year-old American citizen before boarding, but they are unsure why the swap was done or why the man disguised himself.
A Nova Scotia man charged with inciting racial hatred has been found guilty today. 20-year-old Justin Chad Rayberg was charged after an interracial couple awoke to find a 2-meter-high cross with a noose on it burning outside their home in Poplar Grove, Nova Scotia. He will be sentenced in December.
Hurricane Tomas has hit Haiti. The U.S. National Hurricane Center says Tomas has reached winds of 130 kilometers per hour as it touched down on the southwestern part of the country. Haitian government officials are fearful because over 1 million people are still living in makeshift homes, but many refuse to find stable shelter in fear of losing the few possessions they have. There's also apprehension regarding the spread of cholera, a disease already rampant in parts of the country.
At least 50 people are dead and over 80 are injured in northern Pakistan after a suicide bomb attack at a mosque. The blast occurred on Friday during the most popular prayer of the session of the week. A Pakistan official says the bombing may have targeted a tribal leader who is a known anti-Taliban activist. The Taliban have taken responsibility for similar attacks in the Dara region, where they have an active presence, often targeting mosques and Sufi shrines.
A Cuban plane on its way to Havana crashed Thursday evening, killing 68 people aboard. The state-run Aero Caribbean aircraft was carrying a crew of 7 and 61 passengers, 28 of which were foreign. The plane crashed in a mountainous region near the town of Gozumel, and Cuban media are saying bulldozers were needed to cut through the foliage to reach the debris. The cause of the crash is unknown at this time, but the pilot did report an emergency before losing contact.
Scientists in the UK are crediting Harry Potter for their big step towards creating a cloak that may make you invisible. The cloak is made out of flexible film that contains tiny structures that form materials which manipulate light. The light manipulation may make objects difficult to see. Scientists say while they haven't created an invisibility cloak yet, the key is being able to imagine that it can be done.
Now Scott Money will fill us in on the world of sports.
Hello everybody, I'm Scott Money and it's time to talk sports. The Humber Cup volleyball tournament tips off today as 16 college teams vie for the prestigious trophy this weekend. Hawks women's assistant coach Dean Wiley says Humber hopes to continue its winning ways.
First and foremost, it's a Humber College Cup. It's one that we're hosting, so obviously we'd love to win on our home court. We've been in some really nice matches over the last couple of years. We've been fortunate enough to win the cup. I think it's the last 4 years in a row, which is great. But again, the teams coming in, we bring in the top teams from across Ontario.
It's playoff time for Humber's rugby teams. Both the men and women are looking to advance to the OCAA finals. The men do battle at Seneca Sunday at 2, and the women take on Fleming at home Saturday at 1. And it's going to be some chilly rugby action, as it's not supposed to break the 5-degree mark all weekend. In the National Hockey League, 3 Canadian teams are in action this evening. The surging Montreal Canadiens face off against the surprisingly bad and Ryan Miller-less Buffalo Sabres. The tepid Flames are in Minnesota to take on Mikko Koivu in the Wild. And finally, those perennial cup contending Red Wings will look to contain the Oilers and their crop of impressive rookies when they do battle in Edmonton tonight. To the hardwood, it could be a long night for the Raptors as they're in LA to take on Kobe and his undefeated Lakers. If you're a fan of Kobe, it could be one to watch. Kobe dropped 81 points on the Raps in 2006, and now the Boshless Raptors could see this record broken tonight. Bryant is averaging almost 30 points per game, and no player on the Raps is averaging even 25 per game. In what's looking to be a busy offseason for the Jays, the team has cut loose closer Kevin Gregg. The Jays decided to buy out the big right-hander in hopes of picking up draft picks from teams looking to sign him. I doubt Jays fans will lose much sleep over this decision, as Gregg was plagued by inconsistency all year despite posting a career high in saves. It's the final week for the CFL, and there's a full slate of games this weekend. The West-leading Calgary Stampeders have their last tune-up tonight against the bottom-feeding Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Saturday, the BC Lions do battle with the Ticats in Steeltown, and the Saskatchewan Roughriders host the Edmonton Eskimos. Finally, on Sunday, those playoff-bound Argos will look to finish the season on a high note when they take on their Eastern Division rival, Montreal Alouettes. And that does it for your Sports Fix. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Scott. When we come back, Amy Douglas will have our entertainment update.
Coming up in entertainment, TV welcomes back Conan and the movies to see this weekend. All that and more after the break.